Do you think nursery rhymes are full of weird stuff? So do I. I did some digging into the rhyme called Goosey Goosey Gander. So come along with me as I delve into the wild world of violence and nonsense set to rhyme. Stick around, because this one is good. For those unfamiliar with the rhyme, I'll recite it now. Goosey goosey gander, whither shall I wander? Upstairs, downstairs, in my lady's chamber. There I met an old man who would not say his prayers, so I took him by the left leg and threw him down the stairs. Kind of weird and violent, but that's par for the course with nursery rhymes. If you think this one is good, just wait until you hear the one from 1784, the earliest written version. I'll recite it now. Goose a gander, whither shall I wander? Upstairs and downstairs, in my lady's chamber. There you'll find a cup of sack and a race of ginger. So obviously the last two lines are all that's different here. A cup of sack refers to a cup of sherry, the alcoholic beverage. So you know that lady is getting drunk in her chamber. And a race of ginger might or might not be a group of redheads getting drunk with her. But probably not. It probably refers to an unknown amount of ginger, the spice. I realize that's not as exciting, and I'm sorry. But that's not all this version has to offer. Some written versions of this rhyme include these last four lines. The stairs went crack, he nearly broke his back, and all the little ducks went quack, quack, quack. I feel like these lines are in reference to a peeping Tom trying to sneak a peek into that lady's chamber while she's getting smashed, with or without redheads. The peeping Tom got what he deserved, though. He almost broke his back. Let that be a lesson to him. After hearing this rhyme, you're probably wondering, where's that violent part about throwing a guy down the stairs? That's in the next rhyme we're going to discuss. Some scholars believe that this rhyme, Goosey Goosey Gander, is actually a combination of two rhymes, the second one being about the crane fly from 1780. Old Father Longlegs can't say his prayers. Take him by the left leg and throw him downstairs. It has been suggested that the merge happened in the 19th century. I have found three interpretations for this rhyme, and this is where things get very interesting. The first and most popular interpretation suggests that the rhyme refers to the persecution of the Catholic Church by Henry VIII. Just a little bit of backstory. Henry VIII wanted to divorce his wife, but the Catholic Church wouldn't let him. So Henry, being king, said, "Fuck this, I'll just make my own church." And so the Church of England was formed. Just a point of note though, Henry VIII ruled from 1509 to 1547. So this rhyme would have been in circulation for 250 years prior to being written down, because the earliest version wasn't written until 1784. So it begs the question, why didn't anybody write it down earlier? Even with this, scholars still posit this theory, but it does lead to doubts about whether or not it is entirely correct. There's more to this interpretation though. The persecution of the Catholic Church focused on priests, and apparently the rhyme refers to hidey holes in the churches that the priests would use to escape punishment. Going up and down the stairs and being thrown down the stairs is in reference to what would happen to the priests if they were caught. Priests would have to say Latin prayers in secret because it was forbidden, because the Church of England required prayers to be said in English. Apparently the term left leg or left footer was a slang term used for Catholic people at the time of Edward VI. He ruled just after Henry VIII. This interpretation doesn't address the idea of the two rhymes combining. And it is curious that the term left leg is used in this interpretation because the merging of the two rhymes wasn't thought to have happened until much later in the 19th century. So maybe the crane fly rhyme also had to do with persecution of the Catholic Church? Scholars are quiet in regards to this. The second interpretation has to do with pregnancy, because why not? In centuries past, pregnant women would confine themselves to their homes in the last month of their pregnancy, because apparently seeing a pregnant woman in the last month of her pregnancy was too much for the average person to handle. This month was apparently called the husband's gander month. The husband would be able to wander into any lady's chamber during this month without his wife knowing. This interpretation is not as popular as the first one. The third interpretation is much simpler and also much more sexual. The grey-legged goose was a symbol of fertility for a very long time in the British Isles. The rhyme is thought to have kept its sexual connotations with the line, "in my lady's chamber." The wandering in the poem is thought to have been a reference to the spreading of STIs. So there you have it. It makes even less sense now than when we started, but I'll try to summarize. The rhyme could refer to the persecution of the Catholic Church, pregnancy, or prostitutes and STIs. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite interpretation. I hope you learned something. Until next time.